Hi there, everyone. My name is Roger Cole. I'm now retired, but was previously Park Operations Manager and responsible for the Park Ranger Service in Lee Valley Regional Park in England. I've been involved with researching and preparing the IRF's annual Roll of Honour now for over 20 years. It was at the third World Ranger Congress in 2000 in South Africa that I was first made aware of the terrible losses of rangers in the Democratic Republic of Congo, especially at Virunga National Park, which at that time had lost over 100 rangers. This prompted me to start researching the cause of ranger deaths around the world, and a few years later, with other IRF colleagues, we started to compile a database of rangers who had lost their lives in the line of duty. That database, in fact, now has over 4,000 names on it, and the earliest line of duty death that we've recorded is in 1849. The concept of World Ranger Day was introduced at the 6th World Ranger Congress in 2006 in Stirling, Scotland. And this was aimed at highlighting the work of rangers globally. But we also wanted to commemorate the sacrifice of those rangers who had died in the line of duty each year. And so the Ranger Roll of Honour was introduced. Now, gathering information on ranger deaths has been a challenging task, I don't mind telling you, especially in the earlier years when access to the internet and use of social media was much more limited than it is today. Membership of the IRF in 2006 was only about 50 ranger associations, and these were primarily in the developed world, whereas most ranger deaths occurred in places like Asia and Africa and South America. Thus, the lack of direct communication with rangers in these areas meant that many ranger deaths went unrecorded. I'm glad to say things have improved in the intervening years with better communications and with IRF membership now over 100 member associations. However, it's still difficult to communicate with some parts of the world, China, Russia, Central Asia, and this means that we miss quite a few ranger deaths, I'm sure, each year. We do take care to verify each line of duty death, and regrettably for those deaths that don't meet the strict standards of the Ranger Roll of Honour, for whatever reason, we have to exclude them. This might be, for example, that the ranger was off duty when the death occurred. The death might have been at home, might be due to natural causes. The person might not have actually been fulfilling the role of a ranger, or if we can't get independent verification of the line of duty death, then regrettably we have to exclude it. So what do these line of duty deaths tell us? Looking closely at the data over the last 20 years, that's about 2,000 ranger deaths. We've recorded 800 of those 2,000, that's about 40%, due to homicide, rangers being killed by either poachers, militant groups in conflict zones, or other murders. And that 40% figure seems to be fairly standard year on year. 20% of the deaths each year are due to accidents, either vehicle or transport related accidents, or those that we refer to as occupational accidents, trips, falls, friendly fire, other accidents that are directly related to the working environment. About 15% of deaths each year are caused by animals, elephants, rhino, buffalo, big cats. What we have noticed over the intervening years, over the past 20 years, is that deaths due to elephants have considerably increased, reflective perhaps of the amount of available land now with increased areas of human cultivation. In the last 12 months alone, from June 2023 to May 2024, we've recorded 25 ranger deaths due to elephants. Incidents due to fire, drownings, these account for another 10% of deaths each year. And yet another 10% are due to illnesses or medical conditions in the work environment, heart attacks at work, strokes, things that are directly attributable, such as malaria, hypothermia, pneumonia, and in some cases, deaths that are brought on by stress, the stress of the job, and in some extreme cases, we do record suicides. Whilst we don't actually record these on the Roll of Honour, we shouldn't ignore them. We mustn't ignore them. Nor should we forget that since 2019, we've lost over 500 rangers due to COVID. So I hope this gives you some idea of the work that goes into preparing the annual Roll of Honour and acknowledging the loss of our ranger colleagues. We mustn't forget that every ranger death is a life lost, which impacts both on family and friends, and indeed on colleagues. Finally, I'd like to thank my IRF teammates and our friends in the Thin Green Line and in the Game Rangers Association of Africa, who helped me in assembling and verifying the Roll of Honour data each year. I'll end by wishing you all the best for your own World Ranger Day celebrations, and trust that you will pay your respects to our fallen Ranger colleagues who feature on this year's Ranger Roll of Honour 2024. Thank you very much. Goodbye.